Are you ready for the Low Blows Network? It's the show where you control what's on the agenda. Ask us anything and we're bound to answer. Starring Rick Nash, Corporate King, and the Queen of Irish Wrestling, Lady Hardy. It's Ask Low Blows.
Right, so do you remember last week when Rick joked about Katey getting coronavirus? And I was kind of like, I didn't really like, I was kind of keeping to myself on that one. I wasn't really joining in, you know what I mean? I was kind of a bit cautious, bit anxious, you know, I mean, it did seem a bit kind of on the horizon, so I was like, let's not go there just yet. So I'm sitting here in my room because we can't leave. My question is, Rick, are you fucking happy?
Like, it's a little bit funny, like, it's long-term storytelling. Long-term booking is what I'm saying. Like, I was planting the seeds for getting people ready for the fact that, things may be different from now on. I'm just saying, I'm a visionary, is what I'm saying. But guys, like, in these times of uncertainty, when we're all scared and like stuff we're missing and we were looking forward to is getting cancelled, like Scrapper Mania last week, I think it's important that we get a bit of certainty back into our life, a bit of a constant, a bit of something that we miss. So as we get kicked off here on another edition of Ask Low Blows, still coming to your ear holes every single week, as long as we can. Like, we don't know, we can't promise that at all. We don't know what the world is anymore, but to get us kicked off, what better constant to have than Declan Byrne, who tweeted us in with a question that pretty much sums up the only thing we can start with this week on this crazy, crazy edition of Ask Low Blows in this crazy, crazy new world. Declan Byrne, 31, got on and asked, with no pubs open, no League of Ireland, no wrestling, I have nothing to keep me busy. How are yous all coping with this coronavirus crisis? Katie Harvey, how are you coping?
I actually feel guilty for how much I'm enjoying being at home. I am mentally and physically enjoying the break. Now, I am still working. But the wrestling school has had to close. Obviously, no shows, nothing like that. So I have a lot more downtime. So like any good nerd, I'm ticking things off my list.
What are we talking here? Like,
lots of DIY, lots of gardening, lots of renovations.
Okay. If you haven't been already, you need to get onto Katie Harvey's Instagram story. It's something like funny and positive. In as her and Phil Boyd like renovate their home, and you're just documenting it basically. Phil versus lawnmower. I was very entertained by that story today.
And for anyone because it will disappear, I might put it on Twitter for the crack. He somehow managed to run the lawnmower over the power cable, and then proceeded to shout at me that this happens to grass cutters all over the world. Which I'm not sure is true. It's going to be a long few weeks.
This is it. If you hear, by the way, obviously, look, we're all social isolating, we're all like social distancing and whatnot. If you hear, Phil Boyd is in the vicinity there, so if you hear him interject, that's why. But also as well, I think we better point out that your dog Amber is beside you, so if you hear like panting or barking, that's not Phil.
No, it's not. I'm glad to put this warning there because she's moved herself to the end of the bed where we can see directly out into the park.
Right.
And she's just doing her nightly growls at passers. So
again, not Phil growling, just to be clear. Not yet anyway, we'll see. I don't know, who knows, it's only the start. Corporate Keen, how are you coping throughout all this coronavirus crisis, as they can put it?
It's the exact same, because it's just college assignments. You know what I mean? It's just fucking essay after essay after essay. I'm fucking dying to make videos though, because like now people are bored, they're looking for YouTube videos to watch. You know what I mean? I'm fucking sitting here doing a fucking 1,500 word essay on war correspondence. Do you know what I mean? Do you know where one of the first ever war correspondence was from?
No.
Tala. How mad is that? I mean, he's a proper prod, like, but it's still Tala. Do you know what I mean? It still counts, like. That's fucking cool when you think about it. I didn't know that as I started doing this. But, there's, I've got essays. I also got, the UFC Fight Pass, because there's no, obviously there's no wrestling, there's no UFC or anything like that. Well, Dana White says 249 is still happening, but we'll wait and see. Probably on the moon or something. I don't know where, but it'll, you know. But my plan is to watch every single UFC, skip to the end of the fight, obviously, because they're long. But and just kind of use that to keep, like, you know, because I don't know. I'm also gaming a lot as well. Nice. Like a lot of FIFA, a lot of Modern Warfare, UFC again. Yeah, I don't know. It's all right, like, but I'd love to get my college shit out of the way.
Yeah, it's tough though as well, because there is that thing where, like, we're touching on something where there's a handy side of it. Amid all the worry and anxiety, there is like a side where it's like, do you know what? Like, Disney Plus is launching next week, and I was worried that I wouldn't have the time. Well, that's one thing we're not going to be stuck for. You know what I mean? We'll get to binge all of the things we've been meaning to binge. So there is positives there. There's a lot of worries though, obviously, as well. People freaking out. So that's why we wanted to do a show, and we want to kind of keep doing it for like while we can, and as long as it makes sense, as long as it's appropriate as well. Who knows? This could all like blow over in a few weeks. It doesn't look like it, but it could. We don't know. So we're going to try keep some sense of normalcy with low blows. By the way, shout out to the guys at Monday Madness who launched a new podcast this week. They didn't realize that, like, how much time people would have in their hands. Great timing to launch a podcast. Our new Pokemon podcast. They're going to be going back over all the episodes of Pokemon every week. Well, again, we don't know. We have some episodes in the can that are going to date, because there's not going to be a lot. They taped it a few weeks ago, so there's not going to be a lot of social isolating references and so on. If you're wondering, they're not being insensitive. But check that out. And if you want to binge Pokemon, there you go. We're also in talks. We're talking to people who are like, look, I have a lot of time on my hands. Maybe I could like fire up the old podcast. So we'll see what we can do on the Low Blows Network. Stay tuned for that. But obviously the big news as far as like Irish wrestling was concerned, Scrapper Mania. I think we were all just hoping that, I think we knew that something like this was coming. Like, we could see it getting more and more serious day by day. We're all hoping that we could wait it out. But like, the mad thing is that was only a week ago. That seems like 2017 to me now, when that happened, when Scrapper Mania was cancelled. Obviously heartbreaking stuff, but like, again, Katey, like, the outpouring of the Irish wrestling scene, it was heartwarming to see people kind of come together around it and galvanise around this huge disappointment. How did you feel seeing all that happen?
It was a weird thing. Like, it was never officially announced to us it was off. Like, everyone just literally watched that government announcement and was like, just a big sigh at once, you know, because they knew what was coming. But I think it didn't come as a surprise either, which actually made it a little bit easier.
True.
You know, I don't know. It's a weird thing going on. Like, you don't know how to feel. Like, those in the wrestling school, we had to make that decision straight away. But I mean, like, it just had to be done. So I just keep thinking everyone's in the same boat. Yeah. You know, we all need to get through it, and then think how much we'll appreciate the shows again.
Yeah, true.
It actually, to find the silver lining, it might be a good thing.
Yeah, like, we're all like, there is people like coming together, like, you know what I mean? And people are like, it's kind of got that positive vibes where, like, at the end of the day, whatever petty grudges or whatever stupid shit we were arguing about before all of this kicked in, we all agreed that we were looking forward to Scrapper Mania, and now it's not here. We're all disappointed, and we're kind of sharing something. Look, the longer this social isolation stuff goes on, we're probably just all going to get wound up and start rowing again within a few weeks. So let's enjoy this time where, or at least we're coming together, and we're all, even if it's through shared disappointment, we're all on the same page for once. Cian, you were just talking last week on the show about how, you know, like, that was a worst nightmare case for you, and we even put out an Ask Low Blows that came out the next day after the Scrapper Mania announcement, but we'd already taped it. So we didn't really get the instant reactions. Were you gutted, obviously? Like, how was that sitting with you? How are you feeling now about it?
I missed like about 75% of that sentence because of echo, but I'm going to assume you asked me how I'm feeling about Scrapper, you know, being cancelled.
Yeah.
Sad, yeah. But I had a look at the card. It was the sickest thing where I was deleting pictures like off my phone or whatever, like just clear memory, and I found a picture of the entire card, which was sick. But I was looking at it and I was like, a lot of these matches, I know, like Star Moxley and all that, it's like, that's a huge loss, but a lot of these matches you could get back like at the next show. You know what I mean? A lot of it is like Irish versus Irish, or like imports that are regulars anyway. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a long wait. I honestly doubt there'll be shows until like July, August. You know, well, it's going to be a long wait. Probably if we're from the previous show to the next one, it'll probably be about 6 months, is my guess, which is insane to think about. But I think when we're all sitting around, whether it's Tala or the Ringside Club or whatever it is, and like Engo's grabbing the mic and he's saying, the time is now, the place is here, this is OTT, you know, the intro, and everybody's sitting around, it's going to be the best feeling ever. But it's going to be a long wait. But when it comes around, it'll be fucking amazing. Like,
see, this is the weird thing and the weird new reality we have where we just don't know what it is. I think we're all setting ourselves up for a long wait for whatever, for things to get back to normal, like for football and this and that and all the stuff we're missing. But, like, we just don't know. There's no precedent for this. There's no way we can look back and say, oh, do you remember this happened? Because, like, this is the weird part about, like, what's going on at the moment. I was thinking about it during the week, and I was like, I remember when I was a kid, and my grandparents used to tell me about, like, rationing during the war and stuff. And I used to always think to myself, like, oh, I haven't got to, like, experience that. Not that you necessarily want to live through a world war, but you know what I mean? Like, you're like, I've never had to experience anything like that. What must that be like? This is our story that we're going to be telling. Do you know what I mean? This is the period of our lives where we don't know what, we've no certainty. Like, Americans are comparing it to the feeling around 9/11 where they just didn't know what normal was or what the world was going to be like. I suppose in Ireland, we've no experience for this. We don't know what the situation is. And kind of one thing I want to address, because it's something that I'm getting a lot of inquiries about, the WrestleMania party. So where we're at is, and we're kind of in that kind of limbo and stasis as well, where we don't know what the world is, we don't know where it's at. Look, realistically, like, we're prepared for it to be cancelled. We're not anticipating this is going to go ahead. But also, like, again, because we don't know the situation, because there's no formal lockdown. The lockdown is due to end on Sunday the 29th, although none of us kind of see it ending then. We don't know. So where we're at is we haven't cancelled it yet. We're preparing for it to cancel, but on the off chance that it does come together, it's a lot easier to like leave it on now rather than cancel it and then go double back if by some miracle we were able to. So that's where we're at. If it's a case where Leo Varadkar comes out tomorrow and says, look, the lockdown's extended for 2-3 months, then fair enough, then we'll cancel a refund straight away. So that's not a concern. We will give refunds if that's the case. So that's not something to worry about. But it's just a case of we haven't cancelled yet, just to not confuse people on the off chance that it can go ahead. Because we are getting people, at one stage, like at the start of this, people were like, can we do a party with 99 people because the cap was 100? And I was like, that actually sounds like a crack and we could get social distancing. But now we're in a different reality where it's like, no, we cannot do that. That's crazy. So we don't know. We know as much as you guys do. And there's like, even I get why you're saying like it could be 6 months away before. It could be a month away. A fucking cure could be found tomorrow, and we just don't know how this is going to play out. So we're in that kind of weird limbo now, and let's just kind of try embrace the madness of it all. Madness such as getting used to watching wrestling without crowds. How is this sitting with you, Katie Harvey? Like, getting to, like, WWE are now performing. They have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and so on. AEW had their first closed set show in Dynamite during the week. How's it sitting with you? This new, like, because wrestling, it's the kind of thing you need a crowd for, but also another common thread of wrestling is the show must go on. How do you feel watching these shows? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it different? Are you enjoying them, or is it just weird and you just rather wait it out and watch old wrestling? How are you feeling?
I think every wrestler has a story about that time they wrestled in front of 3 people in a gas hall. And like, honestly, it's the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I absolutely tip my hat to everyone who's gone out to do them shows. That being said, I watched SmackDown. Didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It was a little bit too sterile, a little bit too pretending like everything is the same, but just without a crowd. Whereas I watched AEW last night and I thought it was deadly. Like they were in on the joke, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like even having a few people sitting in the crowd, so they had someone to play off and someone to reference, and then like they could even cut away from the matches. They also did a really interesting thing where their hard cam was facing the entrance.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to see the empty arena all the time. But I'd also drank a bottle of wine by the time I watched AEW last night.
Anything was going to be entertaining at that stage.
On one hand, I appreciate that they're still putting on the shows, but part of me also wishes that they would just go on hiatus and show best ofs or something, because like the thought of Edge having his return match to no crowd, the thought of like the War Games match in AEW happening to no crowd, it's not fair, and I know nothing is fair right now, but I honestly think in these circumstances people wouldn't complain, or even if they chopped the shows to an hour. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think if they made bigger concessions, I don't think people will get angry.
Yeah. It like WWE was. It was, especially when they started, and I appreciated they were doing it on the hop. Like, they had NXT on Wednesday with a small crowd in the Performance Center. And that was fine, because at Wednesday we were still, as far as we were concerned, you could still have small crowds. And then by Friday the situation had changed to SmackDown. And then you had Bayley and Sasha come out doing a promo as if a crowd was there, and it was just like, this is just a bit tragic. Like, I thought, it's interesting to watch, like, but I thought AEW got the balance right. I was saying it, and I'm glad they went this way, because I was saying on Twitter, half joking, I'm like, they should just do what Fight Factory does. Anyone who's ever been to the dark matches in Fight Factory and just had the wrestlers be the crowd, because 30 wrestlers are as loud as 1,000 fans, as anyone can. If you've been to the Fight Factory dark matches, you'll know that that's the case. Like, the hottest crowd you'll ever work in front of. And AEW kind of got that, and it added a bit of atmosphere. I think that's all it needed, because I could settle in and relax and watch Dynamite, and it was interesting as a result. It was a fascinating watch, but it was something that I was engaged in, whereas WWE, I just thought, like, again, Austin's promo, like, very scripted, very gimmicky. I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to embrace the madness, but
the Byron Saxon thing was funny though.
Oh yeah.
Was it? Okay, fair enough. Go ahead. Go with that then, Keith.
I love Byron Saxon, man. But yeah, no, I'm kind of in the same boat as Katey. Like, I loved AEW. I could watch AEW probably every week throughout this fucking situation, if they keep it like that. You know what I mean? Like, they did everything they could to kind of combat the situation they're in. And I know it's kind of sick when you think about it. Like, we missed Brody Lee's debut and Matt Hardy's debut in front of it. Like, imagine the pop that would have got, like with Vanguard and stuff. But another thing they did as well, the video packages. Lance Archer's video package was amazing, right? Brilliant. And it was like, and the thing is, it's like, when I was watching it's like when I was watching The Walking Dead. I didn't actually, like, when I'm watching WWE, I appreciate the effort, but I'm very aware that I'm watching post-apocalyptic wrestling. Whereas, like, when I'm watching The Walking Dead, I feel like everything's the exact same. You know what I mean? And when I watch the video packages, like the Lance Archer one, because of its cinematic nature, it feels the exact same. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like, oh, I wish there was a live crowd, because a live crowd wouldn't make a difference in that situation. So I think video packages are the way forward. And that's why I'm talking about WrestleMania. I'm saying they should do some sort of cinematic kind of thing with that. You know, a pre-taped cinematic sort of Lucha Underground-y type shit. I don't know. I think the fact that it's spread over 2 days means they might not do that. But I mean, there's already rumors of them doing like off-location matches, and I think they've got something up their sleeve for WrestleMania. I'm actually weirdly optimistic about it, but we're just gonna have to wait and see.
WWE have a habit of, when their back is against the wall, that's when their best programming is. Like, do you remember the Saudi when the wrestlers got caught in Saudi Arabia and they had to produce a show out of nowhere, and then that just became the NXT Invasion show, and it was probably the best televised WWE show last year. They have a habit. Like our TLC, do you remember half the roster went down with the coronavirus, whatever that was.
Oh, we got Kurt Angle as the dad, the Shield.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Like, they can be very good when their back's against the wall. So I'm not out on WrestleMania. I'll definitely give it a chance. I hope that's the season finale of WWE for the time being, until we can get back to normal. Because I think they'll benefit from a break and just getting to reset creatively. I worry that it won't be, and they're going to persist with this stuff. But who knows? Like, let's be optimistic. Is anyone else though, like, for me, I don't know, like, wrestling does have this habit of the show must go on no matter what else happens. Like, they've had shows like when they're their colleagues, their best friends have died the day before or on that day, like, and like we've kind of become used to it. But for me, I don't know. It's just I'm viewing everything through this social isolation and social distancing lens now. And does anyone else feel a bit like when you're watching them in the crowd or when you're watching them wrestle each other, you're like, lads, 2 meters, 2 meters. Is that just me?
Oh yeah, like it's so weird. Like, because didn't a lot of NBA players and stuff get diagnosed from playing against each other?
Yeah, big players too. Yeah.
Like, that's the main reason we closed the wrestling gym. Like, it's too hands-on. Like, wrestling is just too close quarters.
Yeah. Is it borderline irresponsible of wrestling shows to continue? It's what, like, look, I loved Dynamite and I would watch that every week, and there's a part of me that just wants to say, fuck it. Is that okay, or should I feel that, like, oh no, I don't know, maybe this is the wrong thing? Because I do, there's a part of me that let go and just enjoy Dynamite for what it was, because it was an entertaining show. But I still get that feeling after the fact where I'm like, this probably shouldn't be happening. Like, Cian, how's that sitting with you?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know how to feel. The whole thing is really weird. Like,
yeah, the world is. That it's just, this is the world we live in, and there's no right or wrong answer except just don't leave your house if you can avoid it. Like, that's pretty much it. So look, that's where we're at, guys. We wanted to kind of have a bit of a chat because there is a lot to talk about, but also we want to do a normal ass low blow show and just kick the shoes off and just enjoy the chats and the randomness. And you guys have been great sending in questions. So now we're going to do a normal ass low blow show. I'm going to hand you over to your regular host of Ass Low Blows, Corporate Cian. Take the reins, Cian. It's all yours.
Yes, lads. It's Ass Low Blows. Who's ready for some questions? I don't know. That's depressing. Yeah, I don't know. What you call it? I don't know if we're still doing drafts or whatever.
I don't think so. I think that's gone.
Yeah, I think we can probably end it here. We'll give it to me. You know, we'll throw the hand. I mean, like, if Liverpool are getting handed the title, possibly without the season finish, although I think they are finishing the season, then you could probably hand it to me. I'm just saying, I was the favourite. That's kind of what you have to base it off. Unlucky to Katie and Rick, my commiserations.
We're winning.
At Owen_Davis1, I bought a bed last week. What was the first proper adult purchase you made?
Have you made an adult purchase yet, Cian?
No, never. I actually made a purchase today, right? I had to go to the square to get food, and while I was there, I absolute like panic buy, right? I bought the essentials. This is Football 2002 on PS2, and I don't know why. and a game called Jack that I've never heard of in my entire life. It's like some motocross game from 2005. I just panicked and bought it. So, no is the answer.
You once bought a multi-bag of onion rings because you were planning ahead for the weekend, like, so it was like, I'm going to ration these. Is that as adult as it gets for you?
Yeah, just planning in advance, really. But I've never bought a bed. I've never bought, like, insurance or, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, I don't know. What other adult purchases are there?
My health insurance came in through in work today, and I was like, that is timely. That's something which I'm probably going to need very shortly. So, like, I'm kind of happy with that. It's weird though as well though, like when you're like, you know, when you kind of start, like, you move out of home or whatever, and like the first time where you're walking around like Penny's or a home store and more or something, and you're actually engaged, you're like, those curtains would look good in it. That's unsettling because you're very much like, okay, I'm a grown up now. Like, I'm in this conversation and I don't know when this happened. I don't know when this transition happened, but now I'm actually like, I want to compare duvet. I want to look at tog value.
Yeah, I'm not at that stage yet.
I want to know how many togs are in that. I don't know if that's the way you talk about it, but I'm not fully there yet. But like, yeah, that's weird. Katie, what about yourself?
I bought a tumble dryer yesterday.
Oh, shit.
But like, I've been driving since I was 17, so I suppose my car and all the associated headaches with that is my adult purchases.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first moved out and we went to IKEA and we picked up, like, you know, things like plates and cups and all the rest of it. And a pizza cutter. We had to make sure we got a pizza cutter, you know, because we don't love pizza. And then we got back home and we realised we don't have an oven to make pizza. I live in a studio flat that doesn't have an oven. So all our pizza is already pre-cut and it's never been used.
One day, like the special day, that would be like, get the fine china out, get the pizza cutter out. It's a big day, like.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Owen. At Gavin Donnelly 01. Will Reigns get cheers piped in when the fireworks go off as he lifts the title at Mania? I hope so. I hope it's the SmackDown one. You know, like the old SmackDown piped in cheers. Yeah, there's always that one like. I don't know. What do you think anyway?
I hope they don't go down the route of piping in cheers.
Oh,
that'd be so funny. If they do it badly, I'm well up for that.
But you know they won't be doing it tongue in cheek or anything, no, it'll look like a fucking SmackDown versus Raw game or something. No, I hope they just actually put some people in the front row if they're going to do this. But I don't know. That's made it even weirder for me.
Xavier Woods is talking about how he wants to be the WrestleMania crowd. Like, he's going on Twitter and he's like, look guys, I'm around and I'm interested. I want this. I actively want this. I'd be into it. I'm the same as Keen. I'd be into it if they somehow got the joke. But here's the problem. There's no way for wrestlers cutting promos to know when the crowd is being piped in or how to react to it. So they can only be like, leave a pause. Thank you.
So that'll be even better if the crowd are talking over him and fucking shitting on him, and he's reacting inappropriately to the crowd. So the crowd are booing him, and he's like, "Thank you all so much. I just want you to know this means the world to me."
Did you ever see The Rock when he did a promo? This is when The Rock turned heel before WrestleMania 19, but he wasn't supposed to turn heel. The crowd turned on him because they were sick of him going away from movies. This is 2002, 2003. And he did a pre-taped promo from WWF New York, but it was pre-recorded, and the crowd shit on him. They were just sick of him, but no one expected it. So he did all of his catchphrases. This is worth going out of your way on YouTube. And look, guys, we all have time now, but it's worth going out of your way because he's like, finally, The Rock has come back, and everyone's like, shut up. The WWF New York just shat on him. It's one of the most fascinating things. If you're looking for that kind of content, that's the promo you gotta go to. It was amazing television.
So my answer in short is yes. I think it'd be really funny, Gavin. Thanks for the question. At Irish Slam Dan, what is your favourite word to use and what is your favourite word to say? My favourite word to use is behoove? And, my favourite word to use is behoove, and my favourite word to say is lozenge. Alright?
That is a fun word.
Rick, do you have any words?
I like the word juxtapose.
Any word that makes you sound smart. Yeah, that's something that'll make you sound smart. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I said something. What did I say the last show? I said something that made me go, "Whoa!" Where I say something, I'll be like, "Whoa! Take that. That's some word."
You popped yourself.
I don't know.
Katie, any favourite words?
It's not something I've given a whole lot of thought to. I have favourite phrases that I use in work that basically mean you're fucked.
All right, go.
Things like, as per my previous email.
Oh.
I've had to use these phrases quite a bit in the last while.
The Katie Harvey, working for Katie Harvey is when your manager wants to see a manager. That's
I don't know, there's words I hate, but words I like don't necessarily jump to mind.
Do you know what, on that kind of note, I like to use, I like to get creative with how I sign off on emails, because now I'm in an email heavy job. So, you just reminded me there, I'll use, regards, or kind regards very passive aggressively, and I quite enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? If I'm telling you to go fuck yourself, it's just regards. If you've gone out your way, it's kind regards. And then, you know what I mean? And then if we're mates, it's cheers. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you get a cheers, it's like you've qualified. You've got over a hump there. Like, we're in an exclusive club now. You know what I mean? Or sometimes as well, like if I'm like trying to talk to a boss, but like I'm trying to like be like take the next step where we're like peers now. I'll be like, cheers, mate. And then I'm like, like I'll think about it all day. I'm like, I hope that cheers, mate, went over well. I hope you didn't. It's something I put a lot of thought into.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining you now sending emails being like, the Nashes send their regards, and you like stamp it like in Game of Thrones. I know. I know, pretty cool.
There's an episode title. Nice.
Thanks for the question, Dan. At Joe Stodge, what is the most head-wrecking kids cartoon you've ever seen and why? Peppa Pig does my head in. They treat the father like an utter moron. So I imagine the ages are going to be different here. Katie, obviously you're the oldest by a considerable margin. So do you want to start with your annoying cartoon?
Ironically, mine is actually Peppa Pig as well, and that's because I have a 2-year-old niece. Well, she's 2 tomorrow. Who is in her Peppa Pig phase, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I make her watch, because I hate Peppa Pig. She's annoying. The voice, it's so monotone and slow. There's no proper plots in the episodes. I just don't like it. I like cartoons you can watch as an adult with a child and enjoy them.
But did you see the voice actress for Peppa Pig retired, and now she's earned all the money in the world. She's fucking loaded now for the rest of her life.
Really?
I don't doubt it. It's massive.
Steady.
Yeah.
I had I always think back when I used to watch this. I think there's stages of your life when you have kids in your life, and then you know all of these. So for me, it was when my little sister was growing up. So there's one that I loved and one that I hated. I still know all of the words to Dora the Explorer. That was a good show. That was just a good show. I'm not gonna lie. But no, what is it? I know all the words to all the songs there. But the one that creeped me out, it's not a cartoon. Well, it's half a cartoon, but the one that totally creeped me out, I was not okay with Kevin from Blue's Clues. That he total stranger danger. Leave
Kevin alone.
He was creepy.
Kevin was great.
I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was fine, but there was something weird about him where he's just like, we just gotta let her. We just gotta let her. It was just so it was just, you've put a tone, you've put an inflection that I don't think needed to be there in a kid's TV show, Kevin. I'm sorry. Regards, Rick Nash.
Mine's not a cartoon. Mine it's just a kid show that I don't know about you, but do you ever look back and you see a kid show that you watched growing up and you're like, that's actually really good. I remember that. Yeah. But a show that I never really watched growing up, but a lot of other people did because they would have been around my age. It's Dick and Dom. I don't know if it's CBBC or CBBS, but I've never got I just never got it. Even when I was my absolute youngest and dumbest and my fucking I could accept any show, that was just one that it just wasn't for me.
Right, okay.
But I think that's it. Yeah, thanks for the question, Joe. At Clueless Nerd, shout out. He is the one who set up the what's it called?
The fundraiser.
GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Yeah. For OTT. So, shout out. Is there any show that you can't bring yourself to rewatch after watching the finale? Example, I can't bring myself to watch the last episode of How I Met Your Mother again. Yeah, I can watch it right up until the last episode. The ending was such a cop-out. Rick, do you have any shows?
I'm building my way back up to rewatch Lost. Lost was a very important show for me in terms, as important as TV shows can be, but it was the first show that I ever properly nerded out. You would have seen me the way I was with Game of Thrones, last year.
Oh god.
Yeah, Lost was my show, and it was for a lot of people. It kind of invented that culture of fans looking away at theorizing every week and trying to figure out the plot and stuff, which I love. I love getting immersed in a show or a movie series or something like that, and Lost was the first one that did that for me. I was obsessed with it. But the last season just, I'm not going to say it was shite, because again, I felt a similar way to the way the Game of Thrones, I felt about the Game of Thrones last season, where it was it could never live up to what they'd set it up too much that the ending was always gonna disappoint, like. So I'll never go as far as to say it was shite. It just didn't live up to the rest of the series, because the point of the series was it's a mystery and you're never gonna know. And they had to give answers though, because people were too invested in what the answers were. That whatever they said was gonna be less than disappointed. So because of that drop, it disappointed me, and I'm scared of going back in case I lose the memories of it, or I won't like it as much. But it was so important that I want to rewatch it one day, but I just haven't been able to bring myself. I will eventually. Marion Armstrong, I know, is obsessed with Lost, so we'll probably end up like teaming up and doing a podcast on it when that happens. But like, yeah, it's a tough. That's where I'm at for How I Met Your Mother, where it's like a lot of people feel the same, where it's a show they loved and they just. It hurts the very end. Game of Thrones is a bit of that to me, where it's like it's now on like Sky box set's got the whole series, and there's a part of me that this time last year I'd have been all over that, but now I'm like, it just, the reaction to it hurt me a little bit towards the end, where people chatting it so much, and that disappointed me, so that I'm almost scared. I feel very similar about that to the way I do about Lost, and it might be a few years before I actually can rewatch it and enjoy it. But they're the ones for me, I have to say.
Yeah, How I Met Your Mother is a good show. I can watch right up until the last episode of that as well. It was so disappointing how it ended. Also Dexter. Dexter was so good for years, and it's not the last episode, it's like the last 2 seasons, where it was such a good show, and then it went so off the rails that I didn't even finish it, and I don't think I ever will, and that pains me because I generally watch shows all the way through. Like, I hated Breaking Bad, and I committed to the very last episode.
Fair play.
Why'd you hate it?
I thought it was shite.
Like, you're wrong. You're objectively wrong, but like, I respect the commitment you showed. That, like, I feel you're entitled to be wrong. You know what I mean?
I just didn't like it. The first season or 2 was alright, and then I was just like, this is shite. Well, I committed, so.
I can respect that. Like, again, I disagree, but I do respect your opinion. No, I don't respect your opinion. Or, like, but like, I respect, like, you're allowed to think that, like, cause you committed all the way, so that's fair enough. I get that. Begrudgingly.
Yeah, I don't rewatch shows unless they're funny. Like, I'd rewatch The In-Betweeners, for example, but any other show, like, The Walking Dead or Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or Prison Break or anything like that, even if I don't remember everything from it, when I'm rewatching a show, I just get so anxious. Like, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Like, I could be doing literally anything else right now, because I know what it's all leading up to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm not really somebody who rewatches things, but, so anything really, I suppose, my answer. Thanks for the question, though. At Alan Tarr, not a fan of the what chant myself. Vince hates the one fall chant. What wrestling chant deserves to be banned from wrestling forever? Katie, if you're wrestling, say, Sami Zayn in a rematch, yeah, and you're trying your absolute best not to bottle it for a second time, and the crowd are all watching it, and they're all fucking shouting and screaming, what do you not want to hear as you're wrestling, like?
Your voice.
Oh.
And if you can hear shouting right now, Phil's playing FIFA, and I don't think it's going well. I don't know, like genuinely, sometimes I've wrestled and come back and then someone's like, oh my god, like, did you hear what so-and-so shouted? And I'm genuinely like, no, sorry, I was in a bubble. Like, I don't remember that. Like, the only things, like, people can shout what they want. They pay their money. Once it's not, like, sexist or homophobic or like swearing at a kid's show, like, generally I think people can chant what they want. If they're chanting, it shows they're engaged.
Yeah, I suppose.
I disliked You Fucked Up when, do you remember it became mad? Do you remember it was the trend in wrestling around, like, this is a very ECW thing, it became mad to like protest shouts, like, where it was like, if a wrestler actually, like, genuinely were probably injured and the crowd shouted "You fucked up," I hated that. Now generally, like, I'm like, I've gone to bat for the mat slappers, like, so I'm like very, I'm very similar, where it's like you pay your money, and I enjoy different fans and different ways of celebrating wrestling, and even if it's not for me, because I don't chant at wrestling, like, for the most part. Like, New Japan was the one time that I've actually gone to a show in recent years and fully no, actually, I tell a lie, a lot of the Angel Cruiser stuff I marked out for, But like, yeah, I don't mark out or chant or do a lot of that stuff when I watch wrestling because I'm more just like trying to get immersed in it and watch the story that the guys are trying to tell me and so on. But like, I respect different ways of following it for the most part. Again, yeah, if it's offensive or swearing at a kid show, all those kind of stuff, I think we're all kind of offended by. What pissed me off the most was, and I've talked about this plenty of times, so I won't go too deep into it, but it was when people started, when I was at Wrestle Kingdom and it was Jericho and Omega, and people saw Jericho and Omega and started reacting, like, because there was a lot of Americans there, and started reacting like an American crowd in a Japanese crowd and trying to get chants started and trying to be ironic and trying to get themselves over and stuff. That really fucked me off because it's like, you've come all the way to Japan, maybe just like do what they do and like respect the way they watch wrestling and like have a different experience where it's not about you for once. So that pissed me off because I'm a real like customary guy and I'm real like etiquette type of person where it's like this is their etiquette, so I'm going to respect that. So the fact that they were being obnoxious and loud, that bothers me, I guess. But that was the only time where I can really think of something that angered me and made my blood boil. I don't mind what chance. I think I find it's an interesting position to put the wrestler in, and I'm like, I like watching wrestlers on the hop. Like, I think it's part of the job where you have to be able to react to it and roll with the punches. So I don't mind that because it's a way of expressing and it's not offensive. So I'm not against it. If it's tastelessly chanted when someone's hurt themselves or something, then yeah, that's a bit egregious. But I'm not someone who gets triggered by that a lot, to be honest.
I think what chants are worse than death, to be honest. But annoying chants. I don't know. Like maybe it's been a while since we've heard like a CM Punk chant, or no chants are that I can think of off the top of my head have really pissed me off in recent memory. Like, I know people like remember the whole 10 thing when that was a thing and people counting ahead of the ref and stuff like that. But that's kind of died down a bit. I think we're in an okay time period in terms of chants. I think You Fucked Up is funny if it's like in storyline. Like, an underdog wrestler slaps a big scary monster and they all start saying You Fucked Up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's good. I think You Fucked Up was kind of a product of its time. You know what I mean? Like when ECW was the new edgy thing in the mid-90s and, you know what I mean, you were able to chant something like that for the first time. It must have been pretty cool. But now, if somebody like hurts themselves or something, I don't think, but again, I don't really tend to see that when I go to shows anymore, you know what I mean? I don't really see very many You Fucked Up chants, or I don't tend to see very many edgy chants, when I'm going to shows, but I'd say the worst chants are probably the ones, like the what's and the kind of, I like the one fall chant. You did mention the one fall chant. I think it's not really a chant, you just say it once, that's kind of it, you know what I mean? I like it. Yeah.
Twitter's been good for that kind of stuff. Because like Twitter now is like, it regulates itself. And not that I'm always a fan of that because it can get very pretentious where people are like, this is my personal pet peeve. Like people went mad about the mat slappers. I remember that was mainly on boards like in Ireland, but like
that was old people on boards. What are you talking
they
about?
went mad about that. Like, yeah, so people can get very like, well, I don't like this, therefore it shouldn't be this way. But it tends to regulate itself out. Like when other people then get involved and they're like, I don't actually have a problem with it, and then it's okay. So Twitter it's run that out of town. Like for example, when the sexist chants were at OTT, like Twitter was the thing that killed it. So it's good in that standpoint, in that it tends to, like, now we're at a stage, you're right, when you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, actually we don't hear many chant. There hasn't been people going mad about a chant in a while. Now watch, like I was going to say next week, but we won't have wrestling shows for the next week.
We won't have chants. How long is it going to be before we hear a chant again at a wrestling show?
People's timing is going to be horrible. They're going to be like, you fucked. Oh no, we fucked it up.
Oh man, that's actually gas. Yeah, it's like this. If you're somebody who has an issue with loads of chants, now is I suppose a good time period for you.
Yeah, you got what you wanted.
But thanks for the question. At Spodino90, another one of these, and this is a really good one, right? This got me fucking thinking. €1 million. But anytime you're in a bus, car, bike, every traffic light you come up to goes red, just as you get there for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's one of the most frustrating things in the world. Oh my god, that's giving me anxiety thinking about it. I absolutely hate that when you're in a rush and you have, like, the amount of time calculated in your head of how it's going to get, like, what time it's going to take to get somewhere, and every light goes red. Oh shit, I don't know.
But here's the thing, right? You would know that, like, you'd adjust, you know what I mean? If you took the money knowing this is the consequence, you'd no longer get that dread that, oh, am I going to make it? No, I'm not going to make it. Like, you'd know. So you'd be prepared for it. And I think you'd get used to it over time. So it did take a lot, like, for me to, to kind of think when it comes to this. But I'm going to say, yeah, I'll take the money. But it's a tough one, though.
You're essentially doubling every journey you're going to ever make then, because you're taking the red lights into consideration.
Well, yeah, but it's €1 million, like, you know what I mean? It's a house. It's, you know what I mean?
I do have somewhere around traffic lights. Yeah.
But like...
You wouldn't take it, Katie?
I think I would take it. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I'd dry my tears with, like, fibers.
That's a fair point. Well, like, it's not an endless amount. It's $1 million. Like, if you did that, you probably wouldn't get your gaff then. Do you know what I mean? That's a waste. So, like, you've doubled your commute times, and now you don't have much to show for it, except you got to dry your tears with fibers for a year.
We're in a toilet roll shortage, okay? So
I don't know. It's a really good one. And Chris was saying that he was running out of content. This is fantastic. Was that Phil saying fuck off?
Yeah, can you hear that? Whatever's happened in the last 2 minutes has really taken a turn for the worse.
I'm telling you, man.
If that's FIFA, tell Phil to start streaming on Twitch. That would be the funniest shit. I'll watch a Phil Boyd FIFA stream, no bother. That'd be gas.
Well, yeah, you'll have to explain to us what Twitch is.
Oh, well, okay, no, never mind.
I don't know. Yeah, I suppose I would. A gaff would be handy. I'd buy a gaff near to where I need to commute. That's how I get around it. Yeah, so there you go.
That's a strategy.
I'd strategize around that to minimize my commute times and deal with it. Because if it's like, if where I'm commuting is, say, I'm going home to visit the family once a week, I can deal with that. But if it's like, if there are more regulations where it's like I have to live somewhere far away where I need to commute to work, then I'd rethink it. But if it's free, which currently it is, Chris hasn't put restrictions on it, I can just buy a gaff right beside where I need to be and go from there. Feels flipping out there. FIFA's rigged, man. I'm telling you, it's rigged.
It's not rigged, it's shite.
Career mode is rigged.
Career mode is not rigged. I've started a career mode with Southampton, yeah, and we're a solid mid-table club like you would expect with Obafemi and Shane Long up front. So you know what? I'm not going to talk too much shit. But yeah, so I've said yeah, and yeah, I think we all took the money.
Yeah.
So thanks for the question. But finally, it's a Queen versus Keane at TKenny2622. Queen versus Keane. Rick will pick out 7 WrestleMania main eventers. And hum their theme song. Whoever gets it first gets the point. This is going to be a mess because we're all lagging all over the place, so we'll be shouting our names before each other. But fuck it, we'll give it a go.
It's being recorded, like, okay, so technically I'm the judge, cause it's all being recorded on my setup. So the name I hear first will officially be the name, okay?
That's handy actually,
okay,
yeah.
Okay, so it's on the audio. Okay, so we'll go for, what is it, first to 4 or first to 3? First to 4, grand. Okay, so, first one. Hello,
it's time to do a rocket.
I know. Oh, Katie!
Go.
Ultimate Warrior.
There we go. 1-0 Katie. That wasn't particularly close. We could hear Phil in the way, but like whatever.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Are you okay? Are you okay, Rick? I wonder if somebody walks in and then like speaks.
Katie!
Go.
Batista!
No. Okay, Keen, this one is...
I'm playing 2 games here, Keen, because I have Phil acting out what he thinks it is as well.
Keen, this is just for you. This is a song just for you.
No, it's Keith's go.
I don't know.
People are screaming this.
Are they? Are you sure?
Yeah, you're gonna kick yourself. No, nothing.
Steve Austin.
No, it was Triple H.
That sounded not like Triple H. I'm unapologetic. I feel absolutely no.
That's when you
remorse
spit in
for
the
being wrong.
water. All right, I'll do an easier. I'll do an easier one. All right, I'll do an easier one.
Am I back in?
Yeah, no, we're just doing a new one. All right, so Katie's still leading 1-0.
Okay. Keen, Kurt Angle.
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
All right,
Keen.
go.
Edge.
There you go. 2-1 Keen. 2-1 Keen.
Wait, are these all people who've main evented WrestleMania?
Yeah, I'm looking through it.
Yes. Keen.
Go.
Undertaker.
No. Katie.
What?
Keen, you're frozen out.
That's not homing. That's not homing.
Yes, there you go. 2-all.
What? You basically sang that. That's bullshit.
I did not open my mouth. That is the rules. Okay.
Keen.
Go.
The Rock.
There we go. 3-2, Keen. 3-2. One more and you
So
win.
difficult.
Okay.
Go.
Ronda Rousey.
There we go. We're in a tiebreaker situation. This is what I was hoping for because I have one that
We're in this situation.
this is going to be tough. All right.
This is a 5-star match.
Go.
Randy Orton.
No, Keen, this is just for you.
Okay.
I demanded another go.
Why, Katie? What do you think it is?
I'm telling you.
Fuck.
Okay, I can't keep going. I'm running out of breath here.
Wait.
We can do another tiebreaker.
Keen.
I know this one.
Oh, it's like on the tip of my tongue. I just can't. Oh, fuck it. I'll give up. What is it?
It is The Miz.
Ah, no, I wouldn't have got that. Yeah.
All right, okay, right. I have to go looking for another one. Hang on a second.
Just think of any WrestleMania main eventer.
Yeah, but I don't want to make it too obvious. I want to make it an interesting one.
You're gonna make it niche.
Okay. Oh no, I did that one before. Okay.
Keen.
Go.
Bret Hart.
There you go, Keen with the win.
Oh!
In at the death. In at the
Fucking hell.
I
That
was-
was torture, Tony. Good match, though.
It was a good game. It was a dramatic game.
Yeah.
Well, game of two halves.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for the Queen versus Keen, Tony. Thanks for everyone that sent their questions in. Bye.